Welcome back, everybody. We're celebrating June weddings, as you know, and here with a custom floral leash perfect for all the four-legged members of your wedding party. Our Orly and Larissa is here too, because we're talking about four-legged members of the wedding party. Of course,
I mean,
you know,
duh.
we couldn't do this segment without you, Larissa.
I gotta tell you, this is a DIY dynamic duo you didn't know you needed.
Man, I'm telling you right now, this is exciting.
It is very
I'm just gonna try and stay out of your way. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's smart.
This is cool, though.
Yeah, this is great. This is a really fun way to continue that aesthetic of whatever the theme is for your wedding, the colors, the flowers, through everything, including our furry friends that are sometimes the most adorable part of the wedding party. You've got the flower girls, but then when that pet walks down, everyone does.
I think more and more, I mean, there's more and more pets, more and more dogs coming to weddings. Is it just me?
Absolutely. No, so many people, especially people who rescue, it kind of sometimes becomes part of their love story.
Yeah.
And their dog is included in the photos, in the save the date cards. Why not bring them to the actual wedding? But a lot of venues don't want a dog running around unless it's properly leashed, which makes sense. So that's where this comes in.
Yeah, but properly leashed is one thing, but this is properly leashed. I mean, this is like proper leashes, right, Orly? Let's get started. Let's talk about the base, the foundation of it all. Does it matter kind of what we're going to be using here?
It doesn't really. So there's two things I would say. One is the leash is really only going to be used for a very short amount of time because of the flowers. This isn't going to be an all-night leash. So you don't want to start off with a leash that's super expensive to make because you're not going to use it forever. And in that same vein, you don't want to transform their everyday leash that you use and you love into this because you're going to kind of ruin it in a sense. You're going to be gluing these on. So one really great option is actually just making one out of a nylon rope, which you can get at the hardware store. It's got a really pretty pearlescent sheen to it as it is, so it looks like it makes sense in your wedding, and you can make a custom one for your animal, super inexpensive, and that's the one that I have here.
And then I do want to say, safety-wise,
you
know, this is, again, as you mentioned, something you're using for a short term. You know, a dog that's good on a leash is obviously pretty important for this. You don't want one that pulls terribly because these are DIY leashes, not something you want to use every day. So you want to keep that in mind, that this is short term for safety.
Yeah, that's perfect for a dog that's going to walk very very well down the aisle. So when you get this rope, you're going to see that it frays really fast. So once you cut it and before you get ready to use it, make sure that you add, I added a little too much tape here, make sure that you add your tape to hold it in place. Now to create the actual leash, you just want to make a tiny little loop just like this and take a pretty, rope of some sort. What I did was actually zip tie it and then add the rope. But for right now, we're just going to do it like this. Actually, Larissa, will you put a little bit of glue right there on the outside?
Absolutely.
And while you're using that, let's talk about the glue that we're going to be using for the leash, and we're going to be eventually using the glue also to attach the faux flowers. You have to be specific with the type of glue that you want to use.
Yes, and actually, Larissa, do you want to take that? Because that's really right up your alley.
Yeah, believe it or not, there are absolutely non-toxic hot glue gun glues. So you definitely want to keep it non-toxic because, as we know, if a dog can put something in its mouth, the likelihood is it will go in its mouth. So obviously, you just want to think big in that respect and just think safe. So definitely find non-toxic glue.
That's good to know.
So Larissa, I'm gonna have you kind of take over. You can see that what I'm doing is I'm basically just hiding the seam with a pretty ribbon and whatever ribbon you're gonna want to use in the rest of your leash. So now you're gonna add a teeny bit of glue, wrap and tie. Just be very careful because it's super hot.
And a lot of dog trainers actually use slip leashes for training, which is exactly what we're making here. So it is something very usable and friendly and should not be something scary for your dog.
Oh, good. Exactly. Now, when you're doing a collar, guys, and you're using an actual real collar with a, buckle and stuff like this, I really recommend opening it, making sure that you know which is the side that has to go through the buckle, because when it's closed, you may end up adding flowers to an area that you need to get in and out of it. And again, I may have learned that by making the mistake once.
That's good. I thought you were turning to me going, that's funny. Okay, good. So that's good to know. Obviously a good tip.
Exactly.
So once you got that figured out, you know where to put the flowers.
Exactly. And what I would really recommend doing is starting with greenery. That's how as I was doing it, that's how I felt like it really came together.
Good.
So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of hot glue just like this. Take some greenery. I'm going to lay it one going this way, one going this way. And what you can really do is mix greenery. You don't need to do just one kind. kind. You can add in multiple shades, just like this. It looks really pretty and soft.
It does.
And then you'll take your flowers. Now, when you're buying the flowers, you want to make sure that it's the kind that you can pull off of the stem. It's much more inexpensive. Thank you so much. That's perfect. You did it. That's perfect. Thank you. You want to make sure that you buy the flowers that come on a stem, just because it's going to save you so much money as opposed to buying like individual loose flowers.
That's right, yeah.
You pull them off, and then you just cut that little like piece that sticks up so it's as flat as you can possibly get it.
Got it.
Don't remove this though, or the entire flower comes apart.
Okay, and as you're doing that, I just want to ask also, we've talked about the hot glue or the glue not being toxic, but we should be concerned about the dogs eating the flowers off of the leash as well?
Larissa gave me a great tip. Will you help explain
I would say you absolutely don't want anything hanging down too close to their face. So when you make your leashes, you want to leave a few inches so that the flowers lay nicely above where it's really simple for them to eat.
Okay.
And she was also saying, you know, which I think is a really good point, is that you want to make sure that the dog is not unattended at all with this leash on. This is definitely a showpiece while you're walking down the aisle. And then even if it's going to be a long ceremony, you could always take this off and put the regular collar on, but just don't leave them idle hands, idle paws.
Because most people's eyes are going to be on the bride and groom.
Yeah, that's
so you want somebody always looking at the dog.
Yeah.
We have a model outside, excuse me, inside, waiting to come out. What will you go and bring Alice out and show us how this great leash works? And while you're doing that, Orly and I can keep adding flowers.
Yeah.
So you can do the same sort of, look how good that looks.
Doesn't it look pretty? So once you do
pretty.
this, you can start to create balance. So you can start with your greenery, then your larger flower, and then get in there with some of the smaller flowers, which actually, let me move to this one.
Okay.
Standing over here, you can see there's two different ways of doing it. You can create kind of a bundle like this of a compilation of smaller flowers, or you can do like these here, which each one has a main large flower and then a couple of smaller ones that sort of anchor it. I do like white, pink, and it's just about creating balance throughout the leash so that it fits and it looks really pretty and it has a really pretty balance.
These really do look really nice. And we're going to find out how they look with a little dog on the end.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Come on out here.
Oh,
there she is.
Hold on, we will come
and
out.
by she, I mean mostly Alice.
And the real star of the show.
So sweet.
Sweetie.
Look at little
And look,
Alice.
one other really cool detail is that after we wrapped that little the end there, I added a bow, not only to continue to hide it, and now it acts as a really pretty detail where even just this, the photo without the flowers and just the bow, oh my gosh, you are so cute. It's really, really adorable.
Alice, you look amazing. Larissa, you're doing a great job.
Steal the show.
You're a genius.